In the heart of this seemingly ordinary neighborhood, there lived an old lady, Mrs. Henderson. But behind the facade of her quaint home lurked secrets darker than the night itself. Neighbors whispered tales of strange occurrences to me, of bizarre rituals conducted in the dead of night. Some claimed to have seen flickering lights in the attic, while others swore they heard unearthly cries echoing from within. Curiosity soon turned to fear as I noticed Mrs. Henderson's peculiar behavior. She would wander the streets at odd hours, her eyes glazed over with an otherworldly intensity. As I delved deeper into Mrs. Henderson's mysterious activities, I uncovered a truth more terrifying than I could have imagined. Mrs. Henderson was not merely an old woman, but a vessel for something ancient and malevolent, a force beyond comprehension. The pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place as I unearthed the chilling truth. Mrs. Henderson was a descendant of the witch, her bloodline tainted by the darkness that had plagued the neighborhood for generations. But as I soon discovers, some secrets are better left undisturbed. For in challenging the darkness that lurks within Mrs. Henderson's soul, they risk awakening something far more sinister, something that hungered for their very essence. In the end, I emerge victorious, but at a great cost. The darkness that once consumed Mrs. Henderson now threatens to engulf me, a reminder of the tenuous balance between light and shadow. The haunted painting. It begins with a seemingly innocent purchase at a local antique store, a painting of a serene landscape. I hung the painting in my living room, thinking it would add a touch of elegance to the space. But from the moment it arrived, things started to go horribly wrong. Strange occurrences plagued my home from the start. Objects would move on their own, strange whispers echoed through the halls, and a feeling of dread hung in the air like a suffocating fog. I tried to ignore it at first, convincing myself that I was just imagining things. But then I started seeing figures in the painting, shadowy figures that seemed to move when I wasn't looking. As the days passed, the presence in the painting grew stronger, its malevolent energy seeping into every corner of the house. Desperate for answers, I sought out a paranormal investigator, hoping to put an end to my nightmare. The investigator told me that the painting was a portal to another dimension, a gateway for dark entities to enter our world. I knew then that I had to destroy it before it was too late. But when I attempted to destroy the painting, they were met with a force beyond comprehension. The painting refused to burn, its twisted figures leering from the flames with malicious intent. To this day, I live in fear, haunted by the memory of the painting that brought terror into my home. Sometimes, the things we bring into our lives carry a darkness that cannot be contained. The abandoned playground. The story begins in a small town nestled amidst dense forests, where children once laughed and played in a long-forgotten playground. But as time passed, the laughter faded, and the playground fell into disrepair, becoming a forgotten relic of the past. As kids, we used to spend hours playing in that old playground, climbing on rusty swings, exploring hidden nooks, and chasing each other through the overgrown bushes. It was our sanctuary, our haven from the troubles of the world. But as the children grew older, they began to hear whispers echoing through the trees. Whispers that spoke of dark secrets buried beneath the playground's surface. Ignoring the warnings of their elders, they ventured deeper into the woods, drawn by an unseen force that seemed to beckon them forward. We thought it was just a game at first, a way to prove our bravery to each other. But as we delved deeper into the woods, the whispers grew louder and the air grew colder. We knew then that we had stumbled upon something beyond our understanding. As night fell, the children found themselves standing before an ancient tree, its gnarled branches reaching out like twisted fingers. In the shadows beneath the tree, they discovered a hidden chamber, a portal to a realm of darkness that should have remained sealed forever. We were paralyzed with fear as we stared into the abyss before us. We could sense the presence of something ancient and malevolent lurking in the darkness, waiting to consume us. In that moment, we knew we had to flee, before it was too late. To this day, the children carry the memory of their harrowing encounter with the abandoned playground, haunted by the whispers that still echo in their minds. But some secrets are not meant to be uncovered, and the darkness that lurks in the woods may never be fully understood. The Vanishing Village. Our story takes us to a remote village nestled deep in the mountains. For centuries, this village thrived in isolation, its inhabitants living off the land and preserving ancient traditions. But one fateful night, everything changed. I was on a hiking trip with some friends when we stumbled upon the village. It was like stepping back in time. Quaint cottages, cobblestone streets, the whole works. But there was something off about it. As we explored the village, we noticed an eerie silence hanging in the air. Not a soul stirred, and the only sound was the whisper of the wind through the trees. It was like the village was frozen in time. We tried knocking on doors, calling out for anyone, but there was no response. It was like everyone had vanished into thin air. As night fell, we decided to set up camp in the village square. But as we settled in for the night, we were overcome by a sense of dread. I woke up in the middle of the night to find the village gone. It was just an empty clearing surrounded by forest. There was no sign that the village had ever been there. To this day, we are haunted by the memory of the vanishing village, a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lurk in the unexplored corners of the world. The Forgotten Basement. We are just a young couple purchasing our dream home in the suburbs. Excited to start a new chapter of our lives, we soon discovered that our lovely home held dark secrets beneath its surface. We were overjoyed when we found the perfect house, spacious, affordable, and full of charm. But there was one thing we didn't expect: the basement. Hidden behind a rusted door in the corner of the basement, we discovered a room that seemed frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture, cobwebs hanging from the ceiling, and a sense of foreboding that hung in the air like a heavy fog. We tried to ignore the strange vibes coming from the basement, but it was impossible to shake the feeling that something was watching us. We started experiencing nightmares, seeing shadowy figures lurking in the corners of our vision. As the days passed, our dreams turned into nightmares, their once perfect home becoming a prison of fear. Desperate for answers, we began researching the history of the house, uncovering a horrifying truth. We found out that the previous owner had been involved in unspeakable crimes, kidnappings, torture, and worse. It was like the basement was tainted by the evil that had taken place there, and it was reaching out to consume us. In a desperate bid to rid ourselves of the malevolent presence, we sought the help of a pastor. But as we delved deeper into the darkness, we realized that some secrets are better left buried. The pastor warned us that the basement was a portal to the other side, a gateway for restless spirits to enter our world. We knew then that we had to leave, before it was too late. To this day, we live with the memory of the forgotten basement, haunted by the echoes of the past that linger in the shadows. Sometimes the horrors we face are not of our own making, but the result of forces beyond our control. If you enjoyed getting spooked with us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated on all our eerie stories. Feel free to leave a comment down below about your own creepy encounters. Until next time, stay spooky, stay curious, and welcome to the Creepy Club.